In Mexico some years ago, there were some Bible translators who went to a place called Chamula. I hope that's the way you say it. They were trying to translate the Bible into that language. They got to this verse 1 of chapter 5. And they were struggling with trying to translate it because they could not find a single word in that language for faith. And they had to try to discover a way of conveying faith without a direct equivalent word. They did find an equivalent phrase. And so they had to take the entire phrase and use that to replace what in our English would be faith. And the phrase that they had in that language was this: taking seriously what God has obliged himself or obligated himself to do. Taking seriously what God has obligated himself to do. So that made chapter 5, verse 1 say this: therefore, having been justified by taking seriously what God has obligated himself to do, we have peace with God through our Lord Jesus Christ. Taking seriously that God has obligated himself in a relationship with us to save us if we will come by the proper means. God has obliged himself that he will save you if you will come through a relationship with Jesus Christ. Nobody is going to come forward and say, I trust in Jesus Christ for the forgiveness of my sins, and God said, I'm going to turn you away. God has obligated himself to anybody who would come in that fashion before him. And so many people refuse to do that. They refuse to get serious about what we would all agree is something every one of us has in common. Every one of us is going to face someday, and whether it comes through a random accident, whether it comes through an unexpected disease, or whether we're laying on a deathbed in old age, all of us are going to face the issue of death. We got a world that doesn't want to deal with that. All of us need to recognize that this is just a small portion of existence. That the great majority of our lifespan will be beyond this world. And it will be after death. The Bible talks about that. But the world does not want to recognize that and invest all of its attention in this small distraction of eternity.